guys. So today I'm going to be talking about something a little bit more personal. I don't think I've ever talked about something like this before on my channel, but I saw Oh No Nina, if you guys know her, on YouTube do a video like this. She did Get Ready With Me too, which I thought would be really cute. But with the filming schedule and all that, I had to film it after I put on my makeup, so sorry, you guys are just gonna hear me ramble. I just wanted to talk about my experience growing up Vietnamese American in a very white dominated, I guess, city. I mean, there was like a little diversity, I will give it that, but it wasn't like it's like you were different if you were Asian. That's all I have to say. I'm gonna start off with just the beginning. So I used to, sorry. My parents immigrated from Vietnam when they were under 10. I don't know their exact ages, but they were pretty young. They are US citizens, so they are the first generation US citizen, but I was the first, me and my sister were the first generation born in the US, if that makes sense. I don't know the terms, I'm kind of blanking out. They definitely had it harder than me. I'm just a little baby, but I just want to tell you guys my story. They had to learn English. They both speak English very, very well, really, really well, and they both obviously speak Vietnamese because they grew up in Vietnam. But yeah, they had to deal with probably a lot more things than I did, but yeah, I bet it was pretty rough for them. So with that, since they were bilingual, when they had me and my sister, obviously they tried to teach us Vietnamese, and I knew Vietnamese just a little. I wasn't fluent, I wouldn't say, but it was till I hit, I would say, first grade, where everything just went downhill. I would try to be cool, be oh, I could speak another language, but then everyone else would be so not there for it. They'd be why are you speaking that? You speak English. Obviously I spoke English as well, but I also knew Vietnamese, so I was bilingual, I guess. I wasn't fluent, but yeah. So at that point I was oh, Vietnamese isn't cool, I won't speak it anymore. So literally my brain switched. I forgot everything. I couldn't tell you one word in Vietnamese right now. I could understand it kind of, which is so embarrassing because I'm literally 18 and I don't know I only know English, and I was born in a household that also spoke Vietnamese, but I literally refused to learn Vietnamese because I was so embarrassed and ashamed of being Asian or just being different. So I really regret that. I don't know. I wonder how my parents felt about that, because they probably weren't happy. Now fast forward, I would say fourth grade. I made a really good friend, but she was kind of, I don't think she meant it, honestly I doubt she meant it, but she was a little racist to me. I think she would make comments that she didn't realize were rude. I don't know, she would say things that were you really just said that to me, huh? I can remember a ton of things. I'm not gonna say it because I will get sad, but yeah, pretty bad. She would make me feel ashamed of being Asian, but then she would also dress up as a Chinese girl for Halloween. That's weird. I'll get back into that later. I just felt so hateful to my family for making me Asian. I was oh, I wish I was white. Oh my god, I wish I was white so I could have blonde hair and a double eyelid, because I have monolids. So oh, I wish I at least had double lids. Maybe people would like me more. Which no one cares, but in my 9-year-old brain, this is what was going through my mind. Yeah, actually now that I think about it, it's kind of sad. But I was just so ashamed. I don't know if I was the only one that felt this way, but I know my sister felt this way too. People would come over to our house, and it was mostly like Americanized, but there were like some like Vietnamese like aspects in our house, and there still are, which I love. But people would be like, oh, like, what's that? Or like, ew, like, what's that? Why does it like smell weird in here? Like, because like Vietnamese like incense are like different than like American. I don't know. But yeah, they would like a lot of people would just make comments that are like a little touchy, and like the fact that I still remember that, and I'm like literally 9 years later. But yeah, I would also, I'm not proud of this, but I literally only had like one friend from like 4th grade to middle school, so I felt like very dependent. So whenever she would make rude comments, I'd be like, yeah, like, huh, like I would like engage, because that's the only way that I found that, like, what if I disagreed with her and she didn't want me my friend anymore? Or like, I don't know, it's kind of stupid now that I think about it, but when you're like in elementary school, middle school, like all you wanted to do is like fit in and have friends. So I don't know, I can't really condone what I did. At least I know now that it was wrong, but still pretty disappointed in myself. Also, if you guys didn't know, I'm extremely whitewashed. I'm probably the whitest Asian person you ever meet. Yeah, I like just wanted to be white, or just literally anything else. And so I just like formulated my brain to be like, oh, like I'm gonna act like this and like this, because I literally I've never had like until like college, I don't think I've ever had like an Asian like best friend, you know? So like I was always around, I don't know how to like say this without like sounding like weird, but like I was always with people that I wanted to fit in with that weren't Asian, so I'd like always like act like them. It's also Halloween today, so that's why I'm wearing this. But I also want to talk about just like racist things, like the Halloween costume that I was talking about. The amount of like, I went to like Spirit Halloween the other day. There were like so many like Japanese, Chinese girl like costumes, and there were so many like Native American costumes. Please tell me why those are still like being made and sold. Please tell me why, because I don't understand. I don't know what goes through people's minds to be like, oh, like this is okay, like, oh, like I'm just doing it. Like, no, don't. So if anyone has ever done that, I know you guys didn't mean it to be like rude, but now that you know how an Asian feels, I would appreciate if that stopped. And I feel like just not an Asian in general, a person of color in general. Growing up Vietnamese, as I said before, I was so ashamed, and I just hated being Asian. I hated it. I wanted to do anything to be white. Like I was looking up like double eyelid surgery. Like I was set on getting that for like a couple of years. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get it. Like I used to get like eyelid tape, eyelid glue all the time. I would try to get those fake lashes with like really, really big like bands, so then it would create that double crease, just for like bigger eyes, because I was always made fun of for like really, really small eyes and like really big lips. So it only made my eyes look smaller because my lips are really big, if that makes sense, like the disproportion in my face. And just like being like short too, because that's also like the stereotype. Like people always call me like the short little Asian girl, like all that stuff like this. And like I'd always have like long black hair, so like when I finally cut my hair or like dyed it, like I felt so like out of that stereotype, because no one wants to like be a stereotype. I also didn't want to act smart or anything, because I didn't want to be like, oh, like that Asian that always has to like be right. Because when I was like a kid, I was kind of like a know-it-all. Like I would be like that one bitch that would be like, oh no, I'm right. And then people would call me like, oh, you're only smart because you're Asian. I'd be like, what the? No, that's really no correlation, because my family, my parents were not the stereotypical like Asian parents. Like they weren't very strict with schoolwork. If anything, I was harder on myself than my parents were on me. So I was smart because I wanted to be. Like, that sounds weird, but like, I try to be educated because I wanted to be. It's not because my parents forced me to. That's a totally different story. So like, when people say like, oh, I was only smart because I was Asian, like, really, really hurt me, because I was like, no, I'm smart because I'm me and I worked hard for this. Like, what do you mean? But yeah, like, now as a college freshman, I'm very sad that I don't know Vietnamese. People assume I know Vietnamese, which makes sense because I'm obviously like, or at least they think I know another language. So like, I wish I knew how to speak Vietnamese. And I want to go to Vietnam, because I went to Vietnam when I was like 7, so I don't really remember it, but I want to go back with an open mind and being like proud of what I am. Because before I wasn't. Like, I feel like if I went to Vietnam when I was like in middle school, I'd be like, oh, like, I hate everyone, blah, blah, blah. But like, now that like I've grown up and like kind of like grew a brain, have common sense now, that I'm like, Asians are awesome, like, everyone's awesome, people of color are awesome, like, white people are awesome, like, everyone's awesome. Like, I just need to like not have like that. I mean, I don't anymore, but I used to have like that mindset that it was just like everyone else and then me, you know? Sorry if this video sounds like super weird. I don't really know like what to say. I'm like, whatever. College. I'm gonna talk about college now. So as I said before, I'm a college freshman, and honestly this school, SDSU, is so diverse, which is so beautiful and amazing, and I love it because of that. Like, I like just walking to school. There's so many like diverse people, which is so awesome. And I'm also in this women's studies class, which I love. This women's studies class is so fun. We talk about like racism, diversity, the lack of diversity, all of that stuff. And it's so interesting to hear perspectives from other races and all that. Like, I think it's really, really interesting. So if you guys are in college or going to college, thinking about college, I would really recommend going to like a women's studies class. I can't say that all of the women's studies classes will be as awesome as mine, because professors differ, you know, with opinions and all that stuff. But yeah, I want to talk about that. I'm also making like a little like zine. It's, if you don't know what that is, it's like a little magazine, and for my midterm, and I'm gonna make it about Asian diversity in the media, or just diversity in the media in general. Talk about Crazy Rich Asians, all of that stuff, because that movie really made me feel like empowered, if that makes sense. Because like, oh, like in the movies, it's mostly like the Asian is like either the really smart one, like the master, I don't know, like, you guys know what I mean, like the stereotypes. And like seeing like that movie as like Asians being like normal people, if that makes sense, like no stereotypes really, but like you guys know what I mean. Like, it was really, really nice and like liberating. Also being on like YouTube and like Instagram has really opened my eyes that like there are so many like people like me on the internet. I never like saw like another person with like monolids until I had the internet, because I thought like me and my sister were like the weirdest people ever, because my parents like have like double eyelids. Like, I don't know like what happened to me and my sister, but the crease just didn't come for us. So I thought we were just like super weird, but turns out it's a normal thing and a lot of other people have it. So I'm really grateful in that sense that I had the internet to expose myself to other people and like educate myself with other cultures and races, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm trying to sound like smart, but I don't think it's happening. Hope you guys liked this video. I'll see you guys later. If you guys have any video requests on anything, let me know, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.